Welcome students, welcome for the Python for Engineers tutorial number 3. Today we are continuing our Python program. Last two videos we discussed the basics of Python programming, how to write a simple program, how to write variables, how to store values, which are the major different types of data types. All these things we discussed in the last two videos. Today we are discussing input function, output function, and decision statements. So as we already discussed, what is the input function, output function, which is a print statement, which we already discussed. So today I am telling you one more thing. Say example, I have value a equal to 5 and b equal to 4. I want to print like this. My output should be like this. Value of a is 5 uh, and value of b is 4. I want output like this. So how to do this? So there is a mechanism in Python which is called we can use the formatted printing. We can use format specifiers. It is like this. I'm writing value of a is an integer value, so I'm using percentage d, and value of b is also an integer value, so again percentage d, percentage a, percentage d. Again I have to use after uh, after this quotes, again I have to use a percentage symbol. Then within a bracket I have to write a comma b. So here actually what is happening is value of a is, it will print as it is. Then instead of percentage d, the value of a will be printed, that is 5 will print here. So that's the reason after the quotes I given a percentage symbol within bracket a comma b. I'm going to run this code. So here you can see I got the output. Value of a is 5, value of b is 4. So if you want to print a floating point value, instead of percentage d you can use percentage f. Say example, a is 5.4, you can print floating point value using percentage f. So format specifier is percentage f. If you want to print some string, we can use a percentage s symbol. So say example, b is a string like apple. So I'm going to execute this code. I got the output like value of a is 5.4000 and value of b is apple. So a is printed as a floating point value and b is printed as a string value. For floating point value, format specifier is percentage f. For string, format specifier is percentage s. You see, don't forget this syntax. The value of a is, what is the value? Instead of value, you give the format specifier. Then once you finish this codes, immediately you give a percentage symbol within bracket the values which we want to print here. So the first value will print as the first format specifier, and second value will print in the second format specifier, like that. If you have one more percentage s or percentage d here, you have to specify one more values here. Say example, I'm writing a comma b comma 5. I given a value 5. I given an and symbol here. Say example, uh, value of a is percentage f, value of b is percentage s, and value of d is a comma b comma 5. So I'm going to print this. I got the output like this. Value of a is 5.0, value of b is apple and 5. I got the output like this, apple and 5. So it is in the order, the values we are giving inside the bracket, it is in the order. So first value here, second value here, and third value here. Just remember, For integer percentage d, floating point value percentage f, and string percentage s. And one more easier method of this format printing is we can use like this. Value of a is, just use curly brace. Value of b is, again I use curly brace. So here value of a is a bracket and value of b is another bracket. So I can give, so what will be the value inside this bracket? That we should write like this using a function called a format function. Within format function, within opening and closing bracket, you have to give the value a comma b like this. So here one extra bracket is there, that's what error is coming. Okay, so value of a is one bracket and value of b is another bracket. So once this quotes is closed, you have to write dot format function within bracket, first bracket what is the value, and second value what is the value in the second bracket. This also will work. I can execute this. So I got the output. Value of a is 5.4 and value of b is apple. So this is the another method of formatting output. Now the most important thing we are going to study is how to input a value. So how to take input? As of now, I directly given value of a and value of b. So instead of this, I want to take an input from the keyboard. How to take it? So the function is input function. Within input function, if you want to type some string comments, you can type like this within double quotes or single quotes. Say example, enter the value. We can write like this. Okay, so I'm going to print value of a also. I'm going to print the value of a. I'm going to print the value. Say example, I'm going to run this code. So my output is like this. It is asking enter the value. Say I'm entering the value 45 and I press enter. See, the 45 is printed because I printed a. So how to take input from the keyboard? We have to use the function input function. Within input function, you can write your comment, enter the value or enter the answer, whatever you can ask, whatever you want to print, you can print here. And left side of the equal to symbol, there should be a variable because the value you are going to enter here is going to store in this variable. Whatever value you are entering is going to store in this variable called a. So here I entered number 45. Here I entered number 45 and value of a is 45 and value of a is printed as 45. Now one problem here is what is the type of a? See, and I entered actually 45. So a must be an integer value. But I'm going to check this type of a. What is the type of a? I'm going to print this type of a. Print this. You see, say example, enter the value. I given value again I given 45. Enter. You see here the type of a is string. It is showing a string. Actually I entered an integer. Then how the string is coming? So here the problem is the input function by default it accepts only string inputs. Doesn't matter whether you are giving number or a character, whatever it is. If you are giving a integer value also, it accepts as a string value. So how to convert this string into integer? I can use a simple function called int here. Int. I used a function int, open bracket, and I close the bracket here. So whatever brackets you open, you should close it accordingly. So one bracket I open here, one bracket I open here. So two brackets I closed here. So now what happens is input enter the value. If I given 45, that 45 will consider as a string value as we saw here. See, it is a string value. 45 is a string value. Now that string value is going to convert it to integer using a function called the int function. I used a function int. Now I am checking the type of a again. Enter the value. I am entering here as again 45. See, the type is integer. Now the type is integer. So always remember, when you want to enter an integer value from the keyboard, before input function you have to use int function. If you want to input an float function instead of int, you have to use float function. This is how we are taking input from the keyboard. So now we studied how to input a value, how to output a value, all these things we studied. We are going to discuss a problem. So I'm just typing a problem here. It's a very big line of code it is. So this is the question. You can just I hope you can read this. So you can read it easily, you can understand. That's what I'm typing here only. So this is my question. Write a Python program to convert temperature given in degree Fahrenheit to its equivalent in degrees Celsius. This we studied in the schools, how to convert Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. That is the question. So equation is directly given in the question. C equal to 5 by 9 into F minus 32. So degree of Fahrenheit to its equivalent degrees Celsius. So Fahrenheit is given and we want to find in degrees Celsius. Fahrenheit is our input, output is degrees Celsius. That is the question. So now see, the instruction also given in the question. Your program should ask the user for an input value and print the output. The input and output value should be floating point numbers. So input and output should be floating point numbers. So this is the equation. I'm just copying this equation. Now I'm deleting this question. I'm going to paste this equation here. Now, so what is our input? Fahrenheit as our input. So how to take input? A variable equal to, I want to take the input as floating point value. So float of input, two brackets I closed, within quotes, enter temperature in Fahrenheit. Enter temperature in Fahrenheit. So this is my input. So my input is enter temperature in Fahrenheit, that I convert into floating point value. I stored in a variable called F. So F is my input. In the next step, we want to convert Fahrenheit into degrees Celsius. So this is the equation. 5 divided by 9 multiplication. Multiplication we have to use asterisk symbol, star symbol into Fahrenheit value that we already entered here minus 32. This is the equation. Now finally what we should do? We should print our output. So what is our output? Temperature in degree Celsius is, how to use format operator? Like this, dot format in bracket. What is the value? C is the value. C is our output. C, capital C, not small letter C, capital C. Capital C is our output. I changed into capital C. C is our output. Okay. So this is the problem. So F is the input, and here we are calculating Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius, and C is our output. I am printing the output. Temperature in degrees Celsius is as bracket dot format C. I'm going to run this code. So enter temperature. I'm going to enter temperature as 120. I entered. I got the output. Temperature in degrees Celsius is 48.8888. This is my output. So that input I given is 120. That 120 is taking as a string. It is converted into a floating point value and stored in a variable F. Then calculated degrees Celsius, and output is printed here. So I hope everybody understood this lecture. So now we are just introducing decision statement. If you have an idea about any programming language like C or Java, you may know what is the decision statement. The main decision statement we will use is if and else, and one more is there, L if. So if, elif and else are the decision statements mainly we are using. So I will tell you one small example of if else statement so that you will understand it properly. So instead of just explaining, I will give you an example code. So this is a program. You see this program, are you able to understand this program? So here one variable is there, number of wheels equal to 3. So this is a variable, number of wheels equal to, and value is 3. If number of wheels is less than 3, this statement should print. Else, if number of wheels is greater than 3, else means if this statement is false, this should print, else should print you are a car. Once this is both is over, this statement will execute. So this is how if else statement is working. If this is true, this will work. If this is true, this statement will not execute, then this only will execute. So example, number of wheels is less than 3, only this will work. Now in our case, number of wheels is equal to 3. So this statement is false. So if this is false, this statement will not execute. So these two lines will not execute. It will automatically come here, else statement, if else statement. So this is false, so automatically comes here. So what will execute here? You are a car. This will execute. So once this if else block is finished, next statement is this one. You have number of wheels is 3. 3 wheels. It will print you have, that is within quotes, 3, number of wheels value is 3 wheels. It will print wheels. This is how decision statement is working. So decision statement is to take a decision. Say example, you will understand it more. I am going to write, instead of 3, I am going to write here integer input enter number of wheels, enter number of wheels, input enter number of wheels. So here what happens is, here it is asking enter number of wheels. We are only going to enter number of wheels. If I am entering 2, what will happen? I am going to execute this code. Just listen how I am executing this. I executed here. So one error is there. I want to correct the error. Print you are a motor's invalid character in identifier. What happened? So I corrected the error. I'm going to execute this. So enter number of wheels. Say example, I am entering 2. So if it is 2, this statement is true. You see, number of wheels value which I entered is 2. So number of wheels less than 3. 2 is less than 3. 2 is less than 3. So this statement is true. I am writing here, this is true. I am commenting and writing true. If it is true, what should print? This will print. You are a motorcycle. This should print. And if this is true, this statement will not execute. Else will not execute. Next, after else, what is there? This one. This will execute. You have number of wheels value is 2. You have 2 wheels. So I entered number of wheels as 2. Press enter. I got the output. You are a motorcycle. You have 2 wheels. This is how if else statement is working. Now I'm telling you some rules about this if else statement. Main rule is, always within if statement you have to give a logical operator or a comparison operator. See, logical operator, comparison operators we discussed in the first video itself. I think you remember that. That is, which are the comparison operators we studied? Equal to, less than, greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to. All these comparison operators we studied in the first lecture. So all these comparison operators give us two types of value, that is either true or false. We will get true or false values. So always within if statement you have to use comparison operators which should give true or false value. So don't give any other symbols like equal to or plus symbol or minus symbol or equal to symbol. Don't use, either use equal to or less than or greater than or not equal to. Only comparison operators you can use within if statement, because it always returns two values, either true or false. If this is true, what is writing inside if statement, this will execute. If this is false, what is written inside else statement, this will execute. If this is true, this will execute. If this is false, this will execute. That's what if and else statement. And second rule is, in Python programming, when you write if statement, you write if is the keyword and else is the another keyword. If there is a statement, this statement is writing using comparison operators. Immediately you have to write a colon. You have to write a colon. Once you've written a colon, just press enter symbol. Here you have to write the statements whatever you want to write within an if statement. Don't use any curly brace. If you studied C programming or Java programming, you may use brackets like this: open bracket here and open bracket, close bracket here. Python don't want these type of brackets. We will not use these type of brackets in Python. Don't use it. So instead of this brackets, we will use a concept called indentation. What is indentation? Is you have to put a colon here. Once you put a colon, press enter symbol, enter, and here you are going to write the code. So whatever you are writing in this line will come inside if. And once you write else statement, in else don't write any statement like this. Else is else. If this is false, else will execute. Else also need a colon symbol and press enter. In this line you have to write whatever should come inside else statement. So this is a very simple concept. If a true or false statement, if this is true, this will execute. If this is false, automatically else block will execute and this line will execute. Once this is finished, either if or else, both will not execute. Either if or else. Either this finished, next line of code is this one. So this is our normal print function. What I printed here, you have, I printed you have, then comma, I printed value of number of wheels. What is the value of number of wheels? What value you are entering. Now next I printed wheels. Now again I am going to execute this code. I'm going to execute this. Number of wheels, I'm going to give number of wheels is 4. So what happened if number of wheels I entered is 4? If it is 4 means it is not less than 3. This is false. If it is false, this will execute. You are a car. So I executed here, I entered 4, I press enter. So I got output, you are a car, and last statement, you have 4 wheels. This is the output. So I hope everybody understood the simple decision statement if and else. In detail, more detailed example we will study in the next tutorial class. So today we stop this class here. I hope everybody understood this. Please like and subscribe the page and keep watching all the videos so that we can get good programming language in Python.